Hello Cancer, welcome to my channel. It is an absolute blessing and such a pleasure to be here with you. So thank you for being here with me for your November 2023 Tarotscope. In the description box below, if you would like to explore them, there are links to my social media, information on personal readings, and information on donations. There will also be a timestamp if you would like to jump to the start of your reading. Please do keep in mind that this is a collective reading, not a personal reading, so only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. I implore you, please, 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 do not make it your story and create more healing for yourself if it isn't. Okay, so I would also like to encourage you, if you would like deeper insights to your month or to perhaps gain some more clarity, check out your Sun, Moon, and Rising Tarotscopes. So November, Cancer, is a universal 9-month, which prepares us for all sorts of endings. This is going to be showing up differently for everyone. The number 9 is also symbolic of service and sacrifice, and we're being called to bring light and joy to those who need it the most. The overall energy is quite positive, but certainly with these endings coming, that can create sadness, and we're being called or encouraged to remember that when one door closes, another opens. Okay, so for the month of November, we are going to be looking at the overall energy for you, what you are sacrificing, how you can be of service, and finally getting some advice that will best support and serve you moving forward. Before we dive into the cards, I do want to share with you that one of the cards from one of the decks we're going to be using jumped out at me while I was preparing, and that was the No card. N-O card, okay? The bottom of it reads, wait, postpone, pause, say no. So if you have had some lingering question in your mind that may resonate with you, you will know, K-N-O-W, you will know if this is for you, okay? Again, be discerning, take only what resonates, and follow your intuition. All right, Cancer, let's jump in and see what is coming through for you. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us about the overall energy of November 2023 for Cancer, please. Tell us about the overall energy of November 2023 for the collective sign of Cancer. Okay. Tell us, please, what is Cancer sacrificing? Yep, thank you. Tell us, please, how can Cancer be of service? Thank you. Cancer, I do want to say I feel as though your energy has been kind of scattered. This may mean like you have literally been physically scattered, where you feel like you're going from one place to the next, to the next, to the next, or one activity to the next, to the next, to the next. Or it simply could be, you know, that your mind has been scattered, that you may have been jumping between different things in your mind. Maybe your thoughts have kind of run away with you. I don't know what this is or how it resonates with you, but it does feel kind of scattered. Tell us, please, what advice will best support, and serve Cancer moving forward? Thank you. All right, tell us more about the overall energy of November 2023 for Cancer, please. Wow, okay, thank you. Tell us more, okay. Tell us more, wow, here we go. Tell us more, please. What advice will best support? All right, how would we like to? Yes, thank you. Okay, what else do we need to know about the overall energy of November? Thank you. What else do we need to know about what Cancer is sacrificing this month, please? That's too many. Nice, clear message, please. Tell us more. Yeah, thank you. Tell us more, please. How can Cancer be of service? What else do we need to know, please? Okay, wow, thank you. Tell us more, please. What else do we need to know about the advice that will best support and serve Cancer moving forward? Too many cards. Nice, clear message, please. Thank you. All right. And anything else we need to know or may have missed about the overall energy of November 2023 for Cancer? Anything else we need to know, please? Oh, good golly. That's a lot. Let's try that. Oh, there it is. Thank you. All right. Anything else we need to know or may have missed about what Cancer is sacrificing? There it is. Thank you. Anything else we need to know or may have missed? Thank you. Anything else we need to... Thank you. All right. Beautiful. Let's just move these out of the way and dive in, Cancer. So the overall energy of the month for you, the first card you have out is All Paths Lead to Home, Inner Authority, Intuition, Turn Your Gaze Within. This is kind of a reoccurring theme for this month, honestly, where we are being called to go in, go inward, go inward, go inward, go inward. And I do feel like this has something to do, of course, with it being a universal, with it being a universal 9-month and us reaching or nearing the end of a certain cycle, right? Or closing something out. And, I feel like what's most important here is for you to follow your intuition. I do feel that there is this, how do I say, for some of you, I feel like you're struggling with that inner authority. I feel like you're struggling with trusting the signs, the synchronicities, the nudges. I do feel for some of you, you've been working on this, but I still feel like there's a struggle. Was it your sign that this came through recently? Where it's like you will trust with smaller things, but not bigger things. I don't know if that was your sign or not, maybe last month, but I feel like maybe that feels like you, right? Maybe your intuition is like, don't eat that candy bar. And you're like, oh, okay. Right. But like with big things, it's like, ooh, I don't know if I can trust that type of thing. I do feel like, again, this is really calling you, Cancer, to turn your gaze or turn your attention inward. I actually am hearing the word clues, right? And because I feel like there are pieces in there that perhaps, how do I say? Thank you. Perhaps weren't obvious before, which are present now and more obvious for you to kind of put into place, which can show you the bigger picture. I don't know what that's about. Maybe that's for someone specific, but I feel as though, this is very much about trusting yourself, very much about tapping into your intuition, very much about moving forward, following that, allowing it to guide you. And perhaps, what I was speaking about with the no card popping out for you, that could have something to do with this. Okay, I do feel like this is kind of taking back power over your life by trusting your intuition, by allowing it to guide you, lead you. Okay, knowing that all paths lead home. What is home? Well, for me, Cancer, home is not a physical place. Okay, home is your soul. Home is you. Home is your truth. And even if some of these paths are longer, more challenging, Maybe there are obstacles. Maybe you feel like you took a wrong turn. Regardless of what it may be for you, whatever path you choose is the best for you at that time, right? Even, like I said, even if there are challenges, even if it seems rocky, even if it is turbulent, okay? Because in choosing that path, it's like your higher self knew that you needed to learn certain lessons. Okay, so just keep that in mind as you move through the month. Ooh, you have karmic relationships, Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, and conflict. Yeah, I mean, really, there it is again. That energy, that no card coming up, I feel like was significant. Not just in if you've been asking yourself a particular question, but I feel as though it could also be significant because I feel like there are pattern or cycles that you are closing out, but it feels almost as though at previous points you may have said yes when you were meant to say no, and so it's like come up again, right? Does that make sense? 11:11 on the clock. Okay, 11:11 epiphanies. Ones are about beginnings, opportunity, potential. Okay, so they're also about faith, but you know there's this energy that's coming through here for you of a, how do I say, like realizing, right, that there are certain things that have been karmic, that have been repeating, and you have been meant to do something differently to change that cycle, right? Again, this is going to look different for everyone, but it really does feel like this is coming to your attention this month. And I do feel like, you know, those moments of discomfort or of, how would we say, discomfort or fear, okay, are meant to perpetuate growth. They are meant to, you're meant to be learning from them, okay? I'm actually feeling called to read from the guidebook here for you with this card. Yes, make sure it was the right book. Okay, so again, this is the overall energy of the month for you. The constellation Orion is thought by many to have been a place of great polarity and eventual unity. Some believe that many starseeds who were part of this cosmic history are incarnate on Earth now and are playing out karmic relationships from Orion times. Perhaps you're one of them. That does not have to apply, okay? Trust your discernment and take only what resonates. Polarity causes conflict and highlights separation. However, because of this, conflict can also result in unity and growth. Too many misunderstandings are caused when we don't open our heart and our mind and see things from a different point of view. When we go into reactive, second-guessing mode, instead of gathering the courage to open our heart, we should admit that we have, oh my gosh, pardon me. Let me read that again. When we go into reactive, second-guessing mode, instead of gathering the courage to open our heart, we should admit that we may have reacted because of our own woundings and then find mutual ground. We're all innocent children looking to be seen, understood, and cherished. It's much harder to grow closer through conflict than it is to grow further apart, and yet that's the invitation of conflict. It's easy to react and take things personally. It's more challenging to see the innocence of all involved and find a way to grow closer, through the conflict. It's through relationships that we grow the most. How can you soften your heart and drop your defenses enough to see things from a different point of view? How can you see the innocence of all involved? How can you learn to see the similarities rather than the differences? So, you know, again, I feel as though there's a learning that has taken place here for you. And I feel like depending on your willingness, you may be moving out of certain cycles. You may be growing through certain conflicts, but what's really fascinating about this is this feels very much, how do I say this? This could have something to do with other people, certainly. We do have karmic relationships here, but I also feel like for some of you, this could be a cycle within yourself, right? Again, a challenge for yourself where there's a need to recognize that pattern, to trust your intuition and say no, where maybe you would have said yes previously. Okay. Very interesting. Let's see what else you have here for your overall energy. Wait, look at this. Here's confirmation of that no energy I was picking up on. Wait, it's not yet time. Things are being woven. So it's interesting because I feel like for some of you, there is that energy of saying no when you have previously said yes. However, I do feel like for some of you, there's also this energy of, how would I say, it almost feels as though you may be feeling a bit impulsive or reactive, right? As we read with the karmic relationship card, where you may find yourself in a position where you are wanting to react, again, kind of impulsively. And there's this energy of waiting, pausing, because I feel like you don't have all the pieces yet. And perhaps going inward would provide you with those pieces, so that you can make a more informed decision, or that so you can discern right outside of the trauma, the wounding, or whatever it is that maybe you are reacting through. Okay. So, like I said, take what resonates, use your discernment. I feel like you will know which story is yours if it resonates. You do have the Queen of Pentacles here. And here's the thing. The Queen of Pentacles showing up in the reverse like this tells me you don't have everything you need yet. Right? Like it is this energy of you don't know all the things. You haven't been given all of the information. There is something still that's waiting to be discovered, or something that is needed before you move forward. Because the Queen of Pentacles is very, like she's very resourceful. Okay, like she has all the resources she needs. And in the reverse, it's immediately, as soon as I turned it over, it's like you don't have everything you need. Okay, so again, use your intuition and discernment. Decide whether or not this is for you. I also feel like in some ways, I'm getting fear coming up as well. Pardon me. In some ways, so the Queen of Pentacles in the upright can also be this like down to earth kind of energy. And because it's in the reverse, I feel as though it's almost like that disconnection, right? So for example, again, like we read in the book there, and like I was just sharing, there may be something that where you are reacting through your wounding versus, from a place of love or compassion or understanding, right? So it does, again, this I feel is about pausing, waiting, not making decisions from a state of reaction, right? Like waiting until you are in a position where you can respond versus react. And I just want to point out to you, Cancer, that it is okay for you to say, I don't know right now, or I would like to talk about this later, or I'm not in a position to answer that right now. Okay. You also have Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. Yeah, so again, with this energy of laying foundations, I saw it actually as like bricks being put one on top of the other. And it feels, again, there's an energy of like, if you don't have all of the bricks you need, that foundation is going to topple. Okay, like very similarly, if you're making choices where you don't have everything you need in that moment, and it's very interesting because, we have this intuition energy, and sometimes our intuition calls us to move without really being able to see more than like one step ahead. but that isn't always the case, right? Sometimes our intuition is like, don't move yet, don't move yet, because there's more coming in. You have to know more than just what's right in front of you, right? So I do feel as though there's the energy again of waiting so that you can lay those foundations so that you have, let's say, stable ground to stand on when you make your decisions. I also feel as though with this divine plan energy, again, I feel like these things are unfolding for a reason. For a reason. I'm a firm believer in nothing comes from nothing. And so, you will have the appropriate information or resources or pieces when it is best for you, when you are ready, when the timing is right for those things to unfold. So there is an energy of being patient, okay, of being trusting. Actually, let's put that right there. You also have here, dance with life, do something different to change your energy. Yeah, I mean, again, there's this energy here of not doing the thing that you've always done. Like I said before, you may have been somebody who was like, yeah, sure, to these things when you knew you should have been saying no. And I feel like this is part of your overall energy for the month. This may be quite challenging for you, but I feel like if you go inward and you trust yourself, it's going to be, how do I say, I feel like you'll know exactly what you're supposed to be doing, right? I feel like your intuition will speak to you quite loudly if you listen. Yeah, it really does feel, like not complying or not doing things the same way that they've always been done. Again, maybe you have said yes when you've known you should have said no, or maybe you have like rushed ahead or tried to bring about a particular outcome, right? When you should have been waiting, or something like that, or when there was more that was needed. Okay. And so again, it feels as though there is this energy here of do things differently this time, right? Have firm foundations. Say no if that's what you feel called to do. Move according to divine plan instead of trying to move through your own knowingness type of thing, right? Like that's what it feels like to me. Okay, you also have, not that card, this one. Yeah, like I said, you really can't make this stuff up, Cancer. You also have Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, past lives. I mean, this is the second energy of like karmic patterns or soul patterns or contracts or these sorts of things that's come up. And I feel as though this energy is meant to be liberating you from that pattern, from that cycle, right? This is meant to be moving you in a new direction. It's meant to be raising your vibration. It's meant to be lifting you, elevating you. What is the word I'm looking for? Thank you. Evolving you into a new space. But again, here's the thing. This has also been very repetitive in the Tarotscopes thus far. There has been this energy of needing to, how would we say, make certain moves, to make certain calls, to recognize certain patterns and things like this, but trusting your intuition and going within has been repetitive. Okay, it has been repetitive throughout the Tarotscopes this month, and I do feel that, for you, again, it is, the overall energy is about putting you in a position in order to do that, where it requires effort on your behalf. In some cases, that effort is doing nothing, is refraining, right? The effort you're putting in, the challenge, because, or rather, let me rephrase, the effort you're putting in because it is a challenge for you is to refrain from doing something versus actually, taking action. And that may be the case for you. But regardless, like I said, all the Tarotscopes have this repetitive theme where there are things that are trying to be orchestrated in such a way that is beneficial and helpful for you, but it requires effort on your behalf. It requires you meeting, if you will, the universe, God, source, whatever you call it, I call it God, meeting it halfway. Okay? Putting in the effort. Again, take it as it resonates. You also have the song Heaven by Wilkinson featuring Shannon Saunders. Take me to paradise. I'm high in heaven. Lights so cinematic. Watch and listen. Take me home, home, home. Isn't that fascinating, Cancer? We start off this portion of your reading with a card that says all paths lead home, and we close out this portion of your reading with a card that says take me home. Okay, so I feel like this is showing up for you because I feel like the way that you come back home, which is not a place outside of yourself or within someone else, the way that you go home, if you will, or come back home, is by getting into alignment with your true self, right? Reconnecting with your soul's true essence, trusting your intuition, loving yourself, purifying your heart, opening your heart, right? It really does come back to a lot of healing and being very honest and truthful with yourself and honoring that. Okay? So it feels to me like the overall energy is trying to position you in such a way where you come back home to yourself. But clearly, as you have seen with all of the cards that we've had out in this portion, it is really about the effort that you put in. Whether that be effort to actually do something, or if it's effort to wait on something. Okay? Very interesting. Let's look at what you're sacrificing this month. You have Earth School, life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning. I mean, that's soul growth coming up twice for you. I do feel like, okay, so it feels to me with this energy of Earth School and in regards to what you're sacrificing is I feel like there are certain experiences that are needed to be had in order for you to learn certain lessons, in order for you to grow. And so with study and higher learning, I feel like what you're sacrificing is almost this energy of like going at things all willy-nilly. Like a lot of what I've felt coming up for you, Cancer, has been about effort. And here's the thing, I'm not saying this to make you feel some type of way about yourself, but it just feels as though that there's this need for you to put effort in certain places. And I do feel like a part of this, for some of you at least, is really about sacrificing I don't know, maybe if you're just somebody who like scrolls on socials or something, or you like just watch a bunch of videos on TikTok or, whatever, that time that you're doing that, you could be studying. You could be learning. Okay? And I don't mean this from like a, K through 12 perspective or like a college perspective, right? But you could be taking that time to meditate. You could take that time to pray, journal. You could take that time to maybe learn and educate yourself about the evolution of the soul, about spiritual science, things like anthroposophy, theosophy, um, esoteric Christianity. I mean, you take your pick. There's a plethora out there where you can delve into this at a much deeper level. And I feel like that kind of playing around is maybe what you're sacrificing. Okay? Because we have this school energy. What does school require? Focus, discipline, right? Effort. So, I do feel as though for some of you, like the means by which you create this ability to shift your energy, to essentially come back home to yourself, to be fulfilled in that way, is all of the crap that you don't need to be doing, or that is like a waste of your time. And you guys, I want to make this very clear. I am a huge, huge advocate of doing things that bring you happiness and fulfillment. Okay. So, and we all need our like downtime. Okay. It's like, so to say that it's a horrible thing for you to be scrolling, that's not where I'm coming from. But certainly, in moderation. And certainly it's like pick and choose, right? Sometimes, yeah, you're going to scroll and whatever, because you just want to kind of like check out for a little bit. But if you're doing this day after day after day, night after night after night, you could be certainly applying that energy to something else more helpful, more in alignment with your growth, with your evolution, with your learning. Okay? I hope that makes sense. You also have here the King of Swords in the reverse. So the King of Swords is a very honest energy. Um, it is one that, how do I say? It is an energy of being very kind of intellectual, analytical, right? It's very head over heart kind of energy. And I feel as though, which this is really a weird kind of energy to come up, Cancer, because you are a water sign, as you know, or you likely know. And, that water energy is very feeling, it's intuitive, it's, very emotional, these sorts of things. But I feel like for some reason, some of you may have started to take a more analytical, intellectual approach, logical approach to things, where you've been putting your head over your heart, or what feels logical, or something like that. And it feels as though this is a time to kind of get more in touch with your emotions, get back in touch with your emotions, to get back in touch with your feelings, and to kind of sacrifice what seems illogical. Okay, that's not to say that you shouldn't be discerning or honest or truthful or things like this. Or maybe wait and pause until you have all of the pieces to a puzzle. That's not what I'm saying, but I feel like there's a time and place for one way of being, and there's a time and place for another way. And it does feel to me that part of the lesson that you may be learning, right, is to maybe put your head kind of on the back burner and bring your heart forward. Is How do I say this? Especially when I look at this in regards to like an earth school. Okay, because your logic, your intellectual mind may be like, this doesn't make any sense. Or like, why am I going to dedicate X amount of time to learning things like spiritual science or esoteric Christianity. Like, that is not going to move me forward in the material world or something like that. But, as within, so without. So you working on those things does actually, over time, transform your external world. Okay. And not only that, but I feel like we've neglected our soul, our spirit for a long time. We've neglected our feelings and our heart for a long time. And I feel like this is where we need to bring balance in. So it does feel to me, like sacrificing more of what we might call that analytical mind or that logical mind, or what seems to make sense from a logical perspective. And to allow ourselves the opportunity to see things from a different perspective, to gain awareness in places that we may not have had that previously. I also feel as though there's this need, how would I say? I feel like you could also be sacrificing some conflict, because it's come up already with karmic relationships. And this air energy can be about conflict as well. I mean, for goodness sakes, they're swords, right? So it does seem to me that there are maybe some things that conflict with your higher learning, your higher spiritual learning, things that you could be studying from a spiritual perspective that you may need to sacrifice in order to make room or time and space for those things. You have here boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? I mean, like I said, there may be things that you should say no to, but you don't or haven't. I think this is reiterating that, right? And I feel like when we create boundaries, oftentimes we sacrifice things, right? I know in my own experience, I've created boundaries and sacrificed several people who failed to respect those boundaries. So, take it how it resonates with you. But I certainly feel as though there is that energy of, like I said, saying no when previously you've said yes, creating that boundary, drawing that line in the sand, and not moving from that, which again can be very difficult. And you can sacrifice certain relationships or experiences in order to uphold or maintain those. Okay. I also feel as though this does have something to do with what we were just discussing recently. Sometimes not only do we have to create boundaries with ourselves and others, or between ourselves and others, but sometimes we have to create boundaries for ourselves. So for example, like I said, you may have to kind of choose and decide to maybe not scroll and instead study, right? Or something like that. Maybe it's a good thing for me is, like, I have to give myself a bedtime, okay? Because I can be incredibly, like, night owlish. And if I don't discipline myself, if I don't create boundaries with myself and say I'm going to be in bed by X time, I'm not going to stay up, even if I'm like entertained, even if I'm stimulated, whatever it is, like, I'm going to make myself do this, and that may be something you resonate with as well. Okay, that may be something that you need to do for yourself also, which can mean sacrificing certain things, right? You also have deep replenishment, retreat, rest, and be held. I think it's pretty interesting just to share something with you, because again, I am somebody who is a strong believer in nothing comes from nothing. There's actually an ambulance outside of my place right now at a neighbor's home. And here we have this energy of replenishment, retreat, rest, be held, and boundaries and learning, and, maybe putting our head above our heart, or logic above our heart, or what we feel. And I do feel as though for some of you this could be a very clear or strong message, to say to you that it is important for you to look after yourself, to replenish your energy, to create boundaries, and to learn how to take care of yourself. Allow yourself to be held, to hold yourself. This isn't necessarily about other people holding you. But it is about you making sure that you are holding yourself, again, by upholding boundaries, by making sure that you are getting the rest that you need. Okay. I also feel, there's that energy here of retreat and you have boundaries. So again, I feel like should be, now again, take it as it resonates. There are places where maybe you will want, in some sense, to do something, say yes to something, but you should be saying no because it is what is best for you. And sometimes we don't know what is best for us, or we refuse to see what is best for us. Very interesting energies. You have here as well The Middle by Jimmy Eat World. Live right now. Just be yourself. It doesn't matter if it's good enough for someone else. Like I said, boundaries. Okay? It does not matter if other people want you to do X, Y, Z. If you don't have the capacity, or your intuition is like, nope, or you've already drawn lines in the sand, you've already created boundaries, you've already expressed these boundaries very clearly. It's not about what other people think is good enough, what other people want. No, it's not about someone else. It's about you. Okay, Cancer? And I feel like this is important. And I just feel like this is reiterating that. Okay? And what's interesting is what are the lyrics? There's the lyrics from that song. It's like, just take some time. Right? Just take some time. What is it? Little girl in the middle. Shoot, I can't think right now. But there's an energy of take some time, and you have this energy of retreat, rest, be held, and of establishing better boundaries and wait. Right? So you may want to listen to that song, because I feel like there could be additional messages there for you. But really, it's like, take the time. Take your time. Take the time. Wait a minute. Right? How can you be of service, Cancer? You have the 7 star sisters, also known as the Pleiades. Birthing creation's tapestry of life and expression. I feel like, again, this has been a very repetitive message for this month's Tarotscopes, but I feel as though how you can be of service is, how would I say, being an active kind of co-creator in your experience, birthing creations that mean something to you, which creations can be experiences, it can be, artistic exploration, right? It can be whatever it is that you're creating or could create that would bring you fulfillment and happiness and joy. But I feel as though, part of how you can be of service is to, like I said, be an active kind of co-creator in the tapestry of your own life. And the only way that you can really truly do that is to express yourself in accordance with that as a co-creator, right? Instead of letting life rule you, you rule your life. Oh, there's a song. What is it called? I think it's called Let Me Live by Rudimental. I'm hearing it in my head. It's like, leave me alone, just let me live my life, is part of the song. And then there's another portion where it's like, I think she says, no bad man rule my destiny. And I feel like it's because, like, you are meant to be the authority over your own life. It's not about letting anyone, and I mean anyone, Cancer, not your person, not your family, not anyone, okay, to rule over you, right? To decide and determine your life according to their terms. That is not how this is supposed to be working. You are supposed to be the authority over your own life, even if you are attached. And by that I mean, like, even if you have a person, you have a partner, you're married, whatever the story is, okay? So again, I feel like a repetitive message that's come through for this month is how you can be of service is by getting to yourself, by being yourself, by connecting with your truth, by living your truth, and by, expressing that outwardly, bringing into the world what is important to you, what means something or brings fulfillment for you, to be an active co-creator of your life, to help to weave that tapestry of your own life. I think it's interesting as well. The Pleiades is connected with the energy of death and rebirth. So, I feel like welcoming in a new way of being, right, is something that could allow you or put you in a position to be of service. Okay, and I've had, for whatever reason, I felt like I've had to say this in like every single Tarotscope. But this is not to say that God doesn't use us when we are not fully in alignment, or maybe if we're not living from our truth, or we're, living through our wounding, or whatever the story is, because I do feel like God uses us. Oftentimes we have no idea that it's happening, right? But I just feel like the more in alignment with truth we are, the more in alignment with ourselves, our home, our soul, our love, the more in alignment we are with that, and we're not moving so much from our wounding, from our trauma, from our programming, I feel the more of service we can be, right? Ooh, you got a Page of Cups in reverse, which is definitely, okay, so here, this is emotional, intuitive, intimate, loving energy. This is kind of like a sensitive kind of energy, okay? Here, it is an energy of the opposite of all of that, right? So less emotional, less intuitive, less loving, less sensitive, insecure, right? And so again, I feel like how you can be of service is by switching that around, by being secure in what you are expressing, being secure in what you are creating, being secure or feeling secure in your truth, in who you are at a soul level, at an emotional, sensitive level. Okay? I also feel as though, yeah, I feel like another part of how you can be of service, again, because you have birthing creations, and I had this energy of like co-creator coming up again and again. So if you notice here, I'm going to flip it up right just so you can see what I'm talking about. There is a hand reaching out from the unknown, okay, like an energy to match or meet up with that Page of Cups, non-physical energy. Okay. And it's creating a heart there, and you can see something being created because of that connection. And I really feel as though there is this element here of being of service by allowing yourself to have that connection with spirituality, with your intuition, right? Like deepening, strengthening that connection by being an active co-creator in your reality, perhaps by understanding that you are a creator to begin with. Okay. I feel like for some of you, you may have found yourself in situations previously where maybe somebody was like, you're too much, you're too emotional, you're too sensitive, you're too whatever. And I feel like this is something that maybe you're meant to be breaking free from, because I feel like you're meant to be expressing yourself again very honestly, very truthfully, and that is how you're going to be a better service, is by not hiding from what you know to be true about yourself, or being insecure in how strongly you may feel things. And Cancer, you are one of the signs that feels things very strongly. Look at this 10 of Pentacles. This is beautiful energy. How can you be of service? Well, here's the thing. So 10 of Pentacles is this energy of like a culmination of things coming together. Um, you know, leaving behind a kind of legacy. And your energy, Cancer, often in a more, let's say, positive or higher frequency, is very nurturing, supportive, healing, compassionate, unconditionally loving, very focused on family. And I feel as though with the 10 of Pentacles showing up, with you already kind of having that energy, I do feel that there is something here. Okay, how do I say? For some of you, I feel like this is connected to how do I say? Leaving behind or building a legacy in some way that, how do I say this? It's like it not only impacts you and what you are doing with your life and those things, but it also impacts like what you leave behind. So yes, thank you. It feels like this domino effect, right? Like, how can you be of service? Well, by you doing this healing for yourself, by you expressing yourself in a more authentic, more transparent way, a more honest way, um not hiding from your sensitivity and those sorts of things, and actively becoming a co-creator, you thereby, leave behind this legacy, which can, trickle down, long after you've left this physical plane. So that's kind of how it feels, right? It's not just about what you're doing here for yourself, but also about what you're leaving behind. And I feel like there's more that, how do I say, you're doing more, I feel, than what you even realize you're doing, right? It's almost like this, like in some cases, like healing the line, healing your ancestral line. um but I also feel, so how do I say, 10 of Pentacles can also be this energy of spiritual and material abundance. And I feel as though for some of you, you may have this kind of sense of material abundance, or maybe you feel comfortable in that way. But perhaps, and this may be because you've looked at things very logically, very analytically, practically even. And I feel as though, shifting your perspective can build up the spiritual side of things and bring in this more harmonious or balanced way of being, which is another way that you can be of service. I am just going to share the 10 of Pentacles keywords from the guidebook with you, just to give a little bit more depth here. Okay, so it does say spiritual and material abundance, community, generosity, wealth and prosperity, building a legacy. Okay, so I feel like, oh, thank you. Yeah, again, right, we were talking about expression and how you can be of service, and I feel like a big part of that is by being generous with what it is you feel inside, how you express yourself. Sorry, we kind of took the long way around on that one. But, because there is this energy here of holding those things in. And it feels to me with this seven star sisters kind of laying the foundation for how you can be of service and speaking to expressing yourself and being a co-creator, right? Where this energy is coming in saying, hey, maybe you're not doing those things. I feel like you're being asked to be of service by being generous with how you express yourself, because I feel like this is going to leave behind a legacy for future generations. Some of you, this may be in connection with your children. For others of you, it is simply by you doing that and expressing yourself, expressing your emotions, your sensitive side, right? Being in touch with your intuition. It can be that you simply influence the people around you, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be children or family. It could be you just being there, minding your business. And by doing so, and by being authentic and being truthful and being in alignment with who you are, kind of finding that way back home to yourself, that you impact other people and create shifts just by being in the world and moving in that way. You do have inner temple devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. You cannot make this stuff up. Because I was just talking about tapping into your emotions, expressing them, even if it's people have called you sensitive, this, that, and the other. This is very much about you, really acknowledging what you feel in your heart, tuning into that and allowing yourself to move in that energy, bringing more balance between your head and your heart space. I also feel, again, how can you be of service? Well, be devoted to what your heart speaks to you. Be devoted to what your heart calls you to do. Be devoted to your own feelings, your own emotions, your intuition, right? Tune into that inner temple. That's going to allow you to be of service because it's going to guide you and lead you. You also have pillar of light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. So again, I feel like there's this energy here of elevating you or evolving you to the next level. And for some of you, because you are a water sign and because you can, or how would I say, in some cases, it's a little bit easier for you to tap into your intuitive side. I feel like there are some of you who are very intuitive, who, may have in some ways kind of neglected that space. And I feel like raising your frequency, reconnecting with the truth within, and really allowing yourself to move from that space could put you in a position where, like I said, you are the oracle, where you're getting all sorts of informations coming through. And certainly that can help you to be of service as you move forward, right? Picking up on the more subtle things, if you will, I feel like can certainly put you in a position to be of service to others and to, your own experience. It can help you to move much differently. I want to read this to you because I feel like it's super important. For some of you, I feel like, you have this profound opportunity before you, but again, as I was sharing with everything else, it's going to take you allowing this to happen. It is going to take effort on your part. Oh goodness, let me see if I can find this. There it is. Okay. So again, how can you be of service? It says, you are heaven and earth in perfect expression, a conduit for the light of the heavens to the earth. You are the rainbow bridge. Take time to meditate. Imagine yourself as a pillar of light, connecting the light of the heavens above with earth. As the light shines through each of your chakras, you activate the rainbow bridge that many ancient scriptures speak about. Raise your vibration and the vibration of the planet, linking the higher realms of the cosmos, guides, angels, and spirit with the ancient wisdom keepers and beings of planet Earth. They dance together through you. They sing together through you. Without your body, voice, and creations, neither can be expressed. For too long, we've been taught that God is outside of us, giving away our power to angels and spirit guides. But without you, they do not have a voice. You are the oracle. Do not look for guidance outside, for you hold all of the wisdom of the entire universe in the portal of your heart, in every cell of your body. Do not see the angels and guides as above you, for without you, they have no way of communicating. You are the oracle. You are the rainbow bridge. You are the pillar of light. I mean, hello. I think it's really fascinating because, here we have this energy. I think it's funny or synchronistic, right? You have Dance with Life, and then it literally says, that the cosmos, guides, angels, and spirit dance together through you. And it's true, you are an embodiment of God, of the cosmos, of the earth, of the angels, right? And your creations, your voice, the way you express yourself gives them a voice as well, right? So I just feel, again, which has been a very repetitive pardon me, which has been a very repetitive theme throughout this month. How you can be of service is by being who you are, remembering who you are, acknowledging who you are, acknowledging the power that you have, right? And moving accordingly, not fearing what you feel. Okay? Not fearing what you feel called to do or not do, but to essentially be devoted to that portal of your heart. I mean, that's the second time this has come up. You actually have the card where it says tune into the portal of your heart. Okay? And you have do not look for guidance outside, for you hold all of the wisdom of the entire universe in the portal of your heart. So it's like this energy is repeating, because I feel like it's this energy of get back to who you. Oh, sorry guys, I just dropped that guidebook on the floor and I hit the light. I apologize, but it is an energy of get back to who you are, right? Do not shy away from who you are. We also have here the song Murder to the Mind by Tosh Sultana. This has shown up already this month as well for other signs. And I do feel like it's important to bring forward this message, or to share, rather, that in an interview, Tosh said that this song was essentially about putting the ego to rest, or killing off the ego. Now, I personally, there is, what is the word I'm looking for? We need our ego, okay? But certainly, separating ourselves or learning how to overcome the lower egoic drives, which, move from places like insecurity, right? This often is connected with materialism, hedonism, addiction, again, like insecurity, fear, being untrusting, those sorts of things, feeling powerless, okay? Like these are more lower egoic things. And I feel like it's important to point that out, because I do feel like we can be of service by releasing more of those lower drives, or recognizing where we may be feeding those lower egoic drives. So it says here, but I was thinking about how to do this. Trying to find myself, I emerge from my foggiest. 6 months sober, I don't know where the time has gone. And I want to say, this doesn't necessarily mean that you have an addiction to something, but I like a substance or alcohol or something like that. It could be possible, certainly, but I feel as though what's coming through more strongly here for you is this energy of trying to find myself. I emerge from my foggiest, because I do feel like some of you may resonate quite deeply with losing yourself. Okay, and I feel like this is because you may have given power away from you may have given your power away. I also feel like you have this energy again of like all paths lead home or take me home, which is also indicative for me of feeling far from yourself. Okay. So it does feel to me, again, I know I'm going to sound repetitive, but here it is anyways, that one of the ways you can be of service is by just getting back to yourself. Because you're going to move from a very different place. And when you are moving from that different place, you can be of service in ways that are not yet obvious to you, or that you are not yet aware of. You have it's not even in your field yet. Okay. All right. So finally, let's look at the advice that will best support and serve you moving forward. Yeah, deep cellular healing, Octaurus energy, physical and emotional healing. Like I said, there's a lot of that going on here. A lot of that. And I feel like, what do I say? The advice here that is going to best support and serve you is to understand that this is not surface level shit. Okay? This is not, that's not going to cut it. This is deeper than that. Okay? And don't shoot the messenger, but that's how this is coming through. I feel like it's recognizing the depth, recognizing how much transformation is available to you, how much change is available to you, simply by, and I say simply very lightly, but by allowing yourself to move through these energies in the way that you feel is best for you, by following and trusting your intuition, by loving yourself enough to honor your own heart, your own soul. You guys, for the longest time, I was like, oh yeah, I love myself, but I didn't. Not the same way I do now. Not even close. Right? Because the way I love myself now, I'm not going to do things that I don't feel I should be doing. If it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Right? That's pretty much where it's at. If my intuition is not like, yep, go for it, we're waiting. Sorry about your luck, Chuck. But that's not what is best for me. Okay? Old me, where I thought I loved myself, I would have done things that maybe I didn't even want to be doing. Okay? So just sharing a little bit, but we do have the Four of Cups, and this is choosing happiness. This is finding peace within yourself, right? Finding peace with these things that have come up in order for you to heal them, release them, grow through them, where you are being called to close certain cycles, certain patterns, okay? And I feel like this is choosing happiness for yourself, being aware of what it is you want, what you need, being aware of your own emotions, your own feelings, your intuition, your truth, releasing fear and moving accordingly. Because I feel like this is about choosing happiness. This is about choosing yourself. This is about accepting that you have things that are in alignment with you and things that aren't. It's nothing personal against anyone else or toward anyone else. It simply is what it is. I also feel like there's this acknowledge here of, again, finding peace in who you are. Right? Allowing yourself to heal. We also have here for you, oh yeah, the initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. Yes, 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 and more yes. This feels like a big one for you, Cancer, right? Because there is a whole lot of energy out here. I think out of all the signs that I've done thus far, you've had the most cards, especially, I know for certain, up here in the overall, right? And I feel like this, and not only that, but you have karmic relationships, right? With that energy of like that cyclic kind of energy coming up, right? You have that unbound energy coming up with soul patterns, contracts, past lives. And I feel as though like I shared earlier, you may have been saying yes to things that you know or felt you should have been saying no to. And again, I feel like this is part of your initiation. This is part of you moving to the next level. This is part of you crossing that threshold. And the means by which you do that is by doing it differently, right? By acknowledging your fears of saying no, your fears of, drawing a line in the sand, creating boundaries, whatever it is, and doing what's necessary for you. I don't feel like this is how would I say, like a light month for you, really. Not that it really is for anyone necessarily, but I definitely feel like you have your work cut out for you, because I feel like you're releasing a lot, you're moving a lot of energy, and you have the potential to step into something, really different moving forward. But again, it's going to take effort on your behalf or on your part. You have the Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. And I think this is really interesting because you also have this very repetitive energy coming through of, for example, soul patterns, past lives. You have this energy coming through of, here as well, karmic relationships, things that you have been repetitive. Also, there's this energy of the pillar of light, right? Where it's a lot about, like, you have everything you need. Some of you may have felt like you've lived past lives, that you have been training for this for lifetimes. From my perspective, you had to earn your body. You had to earn your right to be in a body. You had to develop over a very long period of time in order to find yourself here now. This is what is taught through Rudolf Steiner's work in anthroposophy, spiritual science. Gigi Young has an amazing channel on YouTube where you can learn more about this, or certainly you can pick up a Rudolf Steiner book. Gigi Young explains it in a way that's very palatable. But I feel as though there's the biggest piece of advice here that's going to best support and serve you is that you have everything you need. Okay. You are not lacking. Okay. You don't have to, how do I say this? It's like, again, trusting, gosh, this energy comes through like a freaking ball of fire over and over again for you, where it's like, you trust yourself. Please trust yourself. Okay, there's more available to you than what you have been allowing yourself to experience thus far. Trust yourself. Okay, when you feel called to create boundaries or to wait or to say no, trust yourself, because there's a reason for that. You've been training for lifetimes. You have access to far more wisdom, far more experience, and far more truth than what you realize, but you have to be willing to tune into it. Okay? You have the song So Long by Diplo featuring Cam. I know you're fine doing life on your own, but that doesn't mean you should spend it alone. 'Cause the boy, you've been flying so low for so long. But I think it's time to give your heart what it wants. And again, this is really coming through, though, some may think about this from a romantic perspective. I'm not seeing it that way at all. At all. I am seeing this very much as like trying to carry the load, the burden of life on your own, disconnected in many ways from your soul's truth, disconnected in many ways from God, source, universe, angels, whatever you want to call it, disconnected from your soul self, your soul's true essence, and, doing life that way. I feel like some of you have been in this position where it's like, it's a cool concept, right? Like, you'll listen to Tarotscopes or horoscopes or, stuff on astrology, this, that, and whatever, and you think it's cool, but you're not applying things that you could be. You're not really, implementing, integrating, not really taking it in, allowing it to move you. Certainly, that's probably not going to resonate with everyone, but I do feel that energy coming through. And, I feel like here it's this energy of, you don't have to carry that all on your own. You have a support team behind you. You have guides and angels that, are within you, that are waiting to be expressed, that are waiting to help you, that are waiting to guide you, right? Um, Also with this energy, it's that those lyrics there that say, I think it's time to give your heart what it wants. I mean, again, you have this energy showing up repeatedly of tuning into your heart, of emotion, right? Of bringing that forward, of not fearing it, about, being in it and allowing yourself to move from that, allowing yourself to be guided from that. So I feel like this is like turning the switch back on for your heart and not hiding from it. You also have the song Beautiful Scars by Maximilian. I'm not going to fight back what I've become. I've got bruises where I came from, but I wouldn't change if I could restart. I ain't going to hide these beautiful scars. I've been going way too hard on myself. Guess that's the reason I'm feeling like hell. But I wouldn't change if I could restart. I ain't gonna hide these beautiful scars, right? So again, it's quite fascinating that you have this very repetitive energy coming through. And I do feel like the advice here for you is, again, to not hide. I also feel like this is speaking to, you have that retreat, rest, be held, boundaries, just say no, wait, pause energy showing up. And I do feel like this is speaking to that as well, right? Like that energy of I've been going way too hard on myself. Guess it's the reason that I'm feeling like hell. Yeah. I mean, there are times that, like I said, we're meant to be saying no, and you've said yes. And I feel like that's meant to be changing. I also feel like this is, again, not hiding about who you truly are or what you've experienced, right? But acknowledging it, facing it, moving through it, learning how to navigate it, not fearing it. It's part of who you are. You just had an hour, 17 seconds, or excuse me, 17 minutes and 7 seconds on the clock. And, it's just really interesting because, I just looked up again, an hour, 17 minutes, 17 seconds. The number 17 is very much about being exactly where you need to be, being on the right path, right? And I feel like, yeah, this is not about hiding what you've experienced or running from it. This is facing it. You also have the song Going On by Ella Irie. Anyone that needs what they want and doesn't want what they need, I want nothing to do with. And to do what I want and to do what I please. It's messed up not to do this. But every once in a while, I think our bodies can smile. So it's really, I love this song, by the way, but I think the advice that's coming through here that's going to best support you is, again, there's boundaries here. Anyone that needs what they want and doesn't want what they need, I want nothing to do with. In other words, there are places where we need boundaries, right? To draw those lines in the sand, to, make our claim over our own life, or to be the authority over our own life, and to decide what it is we want to experience and who we want to experience it with, and to, really not let these other energies influence our choices or to have power over us. And then, again, to do what I want and to do what I please, it's messed up not to do this. In other words, why would you betray yourself? It's like, it's messed up to not honor yourself. It's messed up to betray yourself. It's messed up not to trust yourself. It's messed up to, treat yourself in that way. Right. And certainly not passing any judgment. We've all done this, and there are many who are still doing this. Certainly there are times that I'm doing it even. Okay, so let's just be real here. But, that doesn't mean that it's any less messed up, right? Our programming, our wounding, has put us in positions where we repeatedly betray ourselves and we're just okay with it. It's fine. But I feel like this is one of those times where it's being brought to our attention so that we don't keep repeating the same cycles, and instead we can find ourselves in a position where we are smiling, where we are smiling with our whole being, not just our faces, right? It says here, I think our bodies can smile. Like our whole being can smile. And I think that is part of, where this energy is trying to take you, where you feel more fulfilled, more satisfied, more complete, more at home. That is what I have for you, Cancer, for the month of November 2023. I pray that something here has been helpful or valuable for you in some way, shape, or form as you navigate your month. If it has, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, commenting below, or subscribing. It really does help the channel to grow by telling YouTube that there may be something valuable here for someone else. So I greatly, greatly appreciate you doing any of those things or all of them. It also provides feedback for me, which helps me to grow as a reader, and I greatly appreciate that as well. So thank you for doing any of those things. I hope that you have an incredibly expansive, transformative month, and that you are able to find the courage to say no when you feel you need to say no, to wait when you don't have all of the answers, or to respond versus react. I pray that you are able to give yourself the time and attention needed in order for you to rest, and in order for you to learn and grow, in order for you to make decisions that are best for you. I pray that you are able to express yourself from a very truthful, transparent place, and that you don't fear your depth. I also pray that you are able to heal in ways that are best for you, in ways that allow you to align with happiness and what is true for you, that brings you to a place where you can smile from the inside out. Take care of your evolving, growing, learning, beautiful, sensitive, loving soul. Peace be with you and within you, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.